Hello and welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm Tom Waterman, joined here by Christine Williams and Luke Lesord to talk a little NHL. We're going to break it down division by division to see who our experts think will raise Lord Stanley's Cup come season's end. We're going to jump right into it with the Eastern Conference, starting in the Southeast. Who do you guys have?
It's got to be the Washington Capitals. I mean, they are in, hands down, the worst division in all of hockey. There's nobody else that can vie for that top spot. The Capitals, I'm going to be honest, I'm a Capitals fan, but they are not going to be good as last year. They won the President's Cup, President's Trophy. They had the most points, but they are not going to be doing as well.
But they still have Nicholas Lidstrom, who ended up having 101 points, which we didn't think, nobody thought he would have that many points. They've got Alex Ovechkin, who is obviously one of the elite players in the NHL, but they are the only team that could possibly do anything in that division. But Tampa Bay, they have Steven Stamkos, but it's still Washington all the way.
Tampa Bay's had a lot of success in the past. Jumping to Ovechkin's counterpart almost, staying into the Atlantic Division. Who do you have?
The Penguins and Sidney Crosby. That is probably the easiest division and the toughest division. It's probably the toughest division in all of hockey. There's so many teams that could vie for that top spot. The Penguins didn't win it last year, but with that experience, they're going to win it hands down pretty easily.
They are great. They have Evgeny Malkin, but Jordan Staal is out with an injury, and he's going to be out for a while. So there's a lot of questions surrounding that team. I have the New Jersey Devils because they have Ilya Kovalchuk coming in. They have not only him, Martin Brodeur in goal, so they're pretty set at all positions, and there's too many questions surrounding the Penguins right now.
In hockey, it all starts with defense. I like Brodeur.
You
can jump me off here. What do you have?
Brodeur is going to make some noise in the postseason, though. That's when you need the defense. In the regular season, the Penguins will take that, but watch for the Devils to make some big noises in the postseason.
All right, going on to the Northeast. What's going to happen here, guys?
The Northeast?
Northeast.
All right. I have the Boston Bruins, just because they have Patrice Bergeron, they have Zdeno Chara, who is one of the best defensemen, best offensive defensemen in the league. They're really deep as far as that goes. The Ottawa Senators possibly could contend because they have they gained Sergei Gonchar, but they're just not quite there yet. They've really fallen short in the playoffs.
The Bruins are one of the most complete teams in the NHL. They're going to take this. They've got the goalies, they've got the defensemen, they've got the attack. They have everything they need to win this division easily, and they are deep. Mark Savard goes down. Nathan Horton comes in and makes some noise really easily. He's got 3 goals already through 3 games. He's definitely one of the better players on that team, and he can lead them to that next level in the postseason.
All right, with a little agreement there, let's switch time zones, move over to the Western Conference, start in the Central.
Central, reigning champion, Chicago Blackhawks. They have kept most of that core team intact. That's all the recipe you need to keep winning in hockey. There's no question in my mind that the Blackhawks are going to take that division easily.
It's definitely going to be the Blackhawks. I mean, even though they did get rid of Antti Niemi, they still have the core players, and I've always been taught that when a team wins a championship, they're obviously the best pick for the next season. So they've got Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, they're set.
But how often do teams repeat? That's not an easy task.
Don't repeat, but we're talking division here. They'll probably win their division, most likely.
All right, moving over to the Northwest.
The Vancouver Canucks with the Sedin brothers, they're looking very good. Roberto Luongo is looking very solid so far. They are going to win that division easily. Canucks they played really well all throughout the postseason until they met the Blackhawks, and they're looking like a very solid team.
The Canucks, I also have the Canucks. They're looking extremely solid. There's really nothing else going on in that division. Maybe Colorado, but they're an extremely young team. They made it to the playoffs last year, but there's not a whole lot going on in that division. You've got the reigning MVP in Henrik Sedin and his brothers coming back from injuries, and they play really well together, so they're definitely the pick in that division.
Switching over to our last division, the Pacific. Who's going to pull this one out?
The Pacific, I'm going to have to go with the San Jose Sharks, just because they're consistent year after year after year, and they picked up the Stanley Cup winning goalie in Antti Niemi, so they got even stronger than they were last year. It's definitely the San Jose Sharks.
I hate to agree with you again, but it's definitely going to be the Sharks. But the biggest difference between this year and last year is they could go even farther in the postseason. They could possibly go to the Stanley Cup because of that goalie addition that you mentioned.
All right, moving on to the individual aspect of hockey. You know, my favorite part, of course. Who's going to be the MVPs of both conferences?
In the Western Conference, I'm going to have to go with it's either going to be Henrik Sedin, who is the reigning MVP of the league, just because he's a great player. He's proven to himself to be an emerging star. He was the Art Ross Trophy winner. Now his brother's coming back, so he's going to be able to play with him even more. And if it's not him, then possibly Ryan Getzlaf, but it's a little iffy. He's going to play for Anaheim, so I'm not sure if they're going to do anything at all.
It's not going to be either of those guys. It's going to be Patrick Kane. He is a young, up-and-coming guy.
That was bold, Luke. That was
Take this
very
conference by storm. This is the year he is going to absolutely unleash his talent.
But he's got Jonathan Taves on his team. It's been shown that players who play with another great team don't get the MVPs just because they have a lot of support. He's not going to be the star player. They have a lot of star players.
You just mentioned Sedin and how he was getting his brother back, though.
His brother's not a star. His brother's just there. He's a little sidekick.
I guess he's the Robin to Batman there. All right, moving to the Eastern Conference. This is where it's at. Who's going to win this one, Luke?
Dark horse pick right here, Ilya Kovalchuk. This
No.
guy signed a monster deal with the New Jersey Devils. His career is going to be completely revitalized. He's a little bit old, but he's only 27. Absolutely going to bring the Devils to the next level. Going to completely unleash. Ovechkin is not going to be as good as he was last year. The Capitals front office do not know what they're doing. They do not know how to get that defense that they need. They do not know how to get the goalie. Sidney Crosby is going to do as well as he did, but not as good as Kovalchuk.
Jump on this, please. Just
Ilya
jump on this.
Kovalchuk, really? Okay. He signed a 17-year deal, meaning he has no incentive to play as hard as he possibly should. 17 years, he's set. He is set. Whereas Sidney Crosby, he needs to play. And Alexander Ovechkin, he's a great player.
They both are set. They both have long-term deals with a lot of money. They're both set, but they still leave it all on the ice because they are athletes and they are players that are vying for championships and for individual glory.
Debate, this is great. I love it. We're going to wrap it up with our last topic right here. What are you looking forward to most in the NHL season?
I'm going to go with the NHL Winter Classic on January 1st just because it's going to be a great rivalry. The Washington Capitals, the Pittsburgh Penguins, you've got Sidney Crosby, you have Alex Ovechkin, the two stars of the league. You've got Pittsburgh, Heinz Field, snow possibly. They've got the HBO 24/7. It's going to be great.
I like that pick a lot, but that's one game. You've got to go with the playoffs. There are so many more games in there. There's a series. Nothing is better than the NHL playoffs. It's starting. There's so much unfinished business between so many teams, and coming from last year, the playoffs are going to be taken to a whole new level this year.
I hate to say it, but you got to go with the playoffs. It's what it's all about. That's going to wrap up for us here at One on One Sports NHL Edition. Be sure to tune into our other webcasts this week. And as always, whose side are you on?